of a new kind of Ford for 1957, and the Ford dealers of your community present Ford Theater. Tonight, Louis Jourdan in The Man Who Beat Lupo with Joanna Barnes and Rhodes Reason.
Line. Hey, ready. This pass. Ready. Ready, second. Ready, second. Hold the second. One. Hey. 1, 2 on his hand. Right, one. Cut the head on his hand. Ready, cut cheers on the retreat. Hey. Come on, pick it up. Pick it up. No. Cheek cut must be higher. Higher.
Oui, monsieur.
Once more. Look, monsieur. You engaged me, the maitre d'honneur himself, to bring you to condition for the Olympics. Now then, the cheek cut must be high and the riposte direct. Pick up!
You are still a split second too fast for me with that cheek cut.
Ah, yes. It was with my cheek cut that I beat the great Lupo. Ah, we go on guard, Lupo and I. He makes a feint at my wrist. I tell him masterfully.
I've never known it to fail, Ravish. Every old fencing master in the world has to tell all the youngsters how he beat the great Lupo.
Well, they're all liars, Admiral. Lupo's record stands for all time.
I was on the China station, his 3 great winning years. I never saw Lupo in action. Did you?
Not at the height of his triumphs, when he swept Europe. Afterwards, I was by way of being his best friend.
Is that so? And was he as fabulous with the blades as legend makes him?
More so. He could not be beaten, nor touched.
Oh, come now. Not even touched?
Only once.
Well, that's better. It makes him human. Who took him?
It was long ago, before the Great War ruined gracious living. You see, Lupo wasn't like the usual run of professional fencing master. He was born a gentleman. That can be a great handicap.
Who was he, really?
He was Pietro Luigi Enrico Giacomo della Torre da Salvaggio, Knight of the Golden Fleece, Knight of Malta, the last of the line of the Counts of the Tower of the Savage, who came over the mountains centuries ago with Barbarossa.
I saw Rossetti as he was leaving. He tells me there's little left to teach you.
He flatters me, Mother.
I was waiting for you to finish your lesson because there is something I wish you to do for me at once.
Yes?
When you are dressed, I want you to take the Oreggio vase to the pawnbrokers and sell it.
Don't we have left?
Last night in a dream, your dead father came to me with a lottery ticket numbered 36 in his hand.
Please, Mother, please. No more lotteries. We've sold everything for your dreams. Lost almost everything to the lottery.
Would you defy the wish of your dead father?
I beg you, Mother, don't ask me to do this. When I have finished at the university, we shall have money.
It is painful to be considered a fool by one's own son. This lottery will make us rich now. Go, do as I tell you. The vase is wrapped and ready. Your father would not lie to us in our need.
Buono. My own cheek cut, and you are now faster than I with it.
taught me, master. You've paid me many compliments. That my wrist is steel, my brain swift. But am I really a great swordsman?
I have never seen a greater.
Then enter me for the prize of France.
But that competition is for money, for professional fencers.
It is for money that I wish to fence.
But the Count de la Torre da Salvaggio cannot do this. The Count could never retrace such a step. It's unthinkable.
I must do it. Last week, I sold the Oreggio vase for a dream of my mother's to buy a lottery ticket. I did not buy it, and it won 200,000 lire. My mother must never know. Therefore, I must have money.
But you are not a professional fencing master, nor even a provo. You cannot become one.
I'll set you a bargain. Make me your provo. Now, at once. There are many prizes, many purses of gold. Travel with me from torneo to torneo. Train me between matches.
In those Lombardy hills, the counts of the Tower of the Savage have been above reproach for 1,000 years.
We won the hills with the sword.
And kept them with honor. If you become professional, you can never turn back. The sword is a weapon of personal honor. You cannot stain it with gold.
Come. It shall not be the Count who takes the prize of France and the International and all the rest. My people fought in the old days under the banner of the wolf, Lupo. It shall be Lupo who fences for gold, not the Count de la Torre de Salvaggio.
At least, Count Pietro, your mother always believed that it was her dream that made the last years comfortable.
For 3 long years you have not called me by my name.
But today we have said our final farewell to your mother. So we also say farewell to Lupo. Do we not, Count Pietro?
The need is done and the deed is done. Lupo is no more.
From my lips it shall never be known that you were Lupo.
So I must live my life circumspectly, that no gentleman may ever have cause to call me out upon the field of honor.
That you must always remember. You have barricaded your doors forever with gold. You may never now accept the gentleman's challenge to a duel. But those 3 great professional years, never defeated, never even touched. You were the greatest swordsman of our time. Perhaps of all time.
I don't understand you, Raleigh. You said Lupo was defeated once.
As Lupo, the professional maître d'escrime, no one ever touched him in prize competition. His record stands in the sword clubs of the world as undefeated champion for all time.
You mean to say he tried to retrace his step? That after his record as a professional, he accepted a gentleman's challenge?
He was forced to, Admiral. At the university where he finished, he never touched a blade. He denied all but a perfunctory boyhood knowledge of the sport.
But the manners of his time caught him out.
A friend caught him out, Admiral. An American whom he met at the university and who became like a brother to him. He and a woman. The loveliest woman, perhaps, who ever lived. It was this American friend who painted that portrait. He was a young man who liked to paint a bit and had the money to indulge in that hobby. But at that time, he did not know that he was painting the great Lupo. There we are, Pete. Portrait of a swordsman. I was commissioned to do it for the Paris Circle de Scream.
It's very good. But I still don't understand why you insisted on painting him as a professional. Why not in white as an amateur?
Because, Pete, for me, it had to suggest the great Lupo. I came to study in this country too late to see Lupo, but in my imagination, this thing suggests him. Thanks for closing, Pete.
Not at all.
Boyan! A bottle of champagne and 2 glasses.
John, you're a strange and crazy fellow. You're rich, so you paint, which is a poor man's living. You're an American, so you spend all your spare time in the salle-d'armes of Europe to become an expert with the saber.
Why? I rather like the feeling of ancient feudal power the saber gives me. My father manufactured patent stoves in Texas.
Where one is born doesn't matter. Friendship's roots are laid in past centuries. They're eternal. Look how you pour wine, as if you were a velvet coated Borgia, and I suspected poison. We must have hunted together in Caesar's Britain, in the slack times of combat, 19 centuries ago, John. For our blood pulses to the same rhythm.
Success to the portrait. And to a magnificent host. The 21st Count della Torre da Salvaggio, posing as a professional fencing master.
Success, of course. But your real fame will hang in the Academy someday. For Ileana will be your fame. There you painted living beauty.
Ileana! I heard no bell. Where's Boyan?
I came down the olive terraces to the garden.
Is it that late?
The Angelus, I have to go.
No, Pete, don't go. Amuse Ileana while I change. Bear without me for a moment, darling. Pete, you must reconsider your journey. You must remain another month for our wedding.
That's impossible, John. Quite impossible. My plans are made.
We'll change them, won't we? See you in a minute.
You knew I was still here.
Yes,
I will not hurt him.
but yourself and me. To save his pride, you destroy both of us.
You're engaged to him, Ileana.
I'm not yet his wife. If I were, I would be a despicable person. But I'm not. So you will not treat me as if I were.
One cannot buy life at too great a cost to someone else. If one tries to, life becomes unlivable.
So instead, you choose to run away from life.
I must. There is no other course. I thought I could banish you from my life, if not my thoughts. But I cannot, because you are my life.
If you ever leave me again, I shall follow you, even if you never look back.
What shall we do? What can we do?
I cannot marry him. You must tell him.
How can I tell him that his best friend has taken his love from him? It will kill him. His soul will die inside. I know him and his pride.
Then must we all die, Pietro?
I don't know, but this I do know. We cannot kill him, for he's guiltless.
The real strength of a man sometimes lies in a woman's hand. I shall tell him.
No. I will not hide behind you.
We must not forevermore be broken people. We cannot pay that cruel penalty for such a gentle crime.
Count della Torre da Salvaggio, sir.
Pete, so early. Where's the funeral?
In my heart, John.
Have you been drinking?
The French say the blade of the dueling sword is triangular to indicate the eternal conflict of two men and one woman.
What's happened? Have you trespassed in someone else's garden? Have you been called out? Challenged? You have been called out. The code is still open here, and you're a Lombard. You can use the blade well enough? Tell me, I should like this second for you, of course.
I'm in love with Ileana, and Ileana with me. You?
No.
You must not think less of her, John, or of me. That when we met, I didn't know that she was engaged to marry you as an excuse I will not use. It was just destined and could not be altered.
You mean this, don't you? Get out of here. The code is still open here. And you are a Lombard. You can use the blade well enough.
Lieutenant Colonel McTavish, late of the 42nd, appointed to act for Mr. John Rollish.
Bartolomeo Farnese, friend of the Count della Torre di Salvaggio. Empowered to act for him.
I'm instructed to inform you, then, that under the code Charter Villard, Mr. Rollish assumes the injury to be the challenge. Are you in agreement?
The Count has so instructed me. He is at Mr. Rollish's disposal.
Very well. The client stipulates that the weapons will be sabers, and the cartel written, for the protection of the witnesses if either or both of the men should be killed.
If I ever hurt you, it was by saying I would marry you in the first place, not by what happened since.
Somehow I can't have any more of this. Ileana.
Forgive me. I want to talk to you.
Get out of here.
Ileana, will you leave us, please?
Whatever words left to be said will be disposed of tomorrow morning.
No, you shall not do this. You shall not fight.
On the contrary, we shall. It has been arranged.
But not with blades. That is why I'm here.
You are familiar enough with blades. You have used them. The blade is cleaner than a shot. It shall be blade as I have stipulated.
But you cannot insist on sabers.
Come now. The Count della Torre da Salvaggio is an honorable man. It is his own code we invoke.
The Count da Salvaggio, for 3 years, was Lupo. Undefeated, with the saber or any blade. The professional swordsman, fencing for money. On the field of honor, therefore, the Count has no honor left.
Well. So?
So you cannot insist on sabers.
You must not fight at all.
Please, Ileana.
You cannot possibly best him with a saber.
If I killed you with the saber, it would be the same as murder.
I feel sorry for you, my friend. But it will still be sabers. For my pride. But for you, it will be all the haunted blood memories of 20 centuries. All the scornful laughter of your outraged ancestors.
surgeon has arrived.
Good morning, Doctor.
Gentlemen.
There, behind us, if you please. Both seconds, if you please. You will both stand armed in the event of irregularities caused by the melee. Under no circumstances will you engage each other. Are your principals ready?
Ready.
Quite ready, Monsieur le Directeur.
Weapons then. Step forward, gentlemen, to the break of measure. It is understood that as long as you are on your feet, no halt will be called. It is understood that if one is cut down and the other fails to step back, the seconds will intervene to force him back with blades. Each of you is to determine for himself the seriousness of any wound. If you cannot go on, you will so indicate by dropping your weapon to the ground. Are you ready, gentlemen?
Ready.
Allez. Silence! It's most irregular that they should speak.
Let me do that. It was deliberate.
Perhaps. Perhaps not.
You will not speak.
The American gentleman offers insult.
Stop it. We've had enough of this mess.
Keep quiet, gentlemen. Your wounds, you wish to continue?
I will not continue.
He's got to. I won't have it end this way.
I cannot continue. My sword arm will not permit it.
Splendid. The Count was able to retain his honor, and the artist his pride.
The Count never again held a blade in his hand. And the artist never again painted.
And the lovely Ileana?
She married the Count della Torre da Salvaggio.
And it worked out?
For years, just those two lived for each other alone. And then, as their youth faded, they were granted one child, as if the memory of their love must still walk the earth. They were drowned off Capri. Their bodies were never found. Perhaps they were god and goddess, gone back to Olympus.
I don't know. I've seldom found love between men and women to be as enduring as friendship between men.
I don't know either. But there is one final subtlety in this. A confirmed bachelor faces a bleak and grisly old age alone. That can be a miserable existence. A child to bring up, youth back in one's household occasionally after the school years are over. That can make all the difference.
Well, Uncle John, how did it look to you?
I think you're ready for the Olympics, Pete. Admiral, my foster nephew, the Count della Torre da Salvaggio. Pete, my friend, Admiral Brent.
How do you do?
How do you do, sir?
Theater has been brought to you by Ford and the Ford dealers of your community, who invite you to come in and action test the new kind of Ford for 1957.